Grab a cup and let's spill the tea. Your unabridged connection to mainstream news here on WHIP Radio, Philly's #1 college radio station. Welcome back, everybody. It's a brand new year. It's a brand new day here at Temple University. And as always, though, you still have the same old host. Sorry about that. But it's me, Jon Dowding, as usual. Going into the new year, something that's not new that we have experienced is a lot of arguing and the lack of things getting done in DC. And so much so that the government shut down for a brief period of time, amongst all of the other crazy psychotic news that occurred in DC over the break. Not only did the government shut down, but we also learned that President Trump is the healthiest man in the entire planet. If he's healthy, then I must be close to dying. But anyway, congrats everybody, the government is back open. The House passed a continuing resolution with 266 votes to 159 votes, which ended the I think they said 60-hour or so, almost 3-day long government shutdown. Democrats ultimately voted against the initial funding bill because of a lot of issues that they did not see in the funding bill. Predominantly, what to do about young people affected by the expiring Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals or DACA program. That issue was not addressed in the initial funding bill. So because of that, Democrats filibustered and they voted against it and ultimately shut down the government. Once the government got shut down, of course, there was a blaming game. It was the Republicans' fault because they had control in every branch of government. How could they let the government shut down? But then it was the Democrats' fault because they were voting for 800,000 DACA recipients and not the millions of kids who are enrolled in CHIP programs. However, ultimately, it really does fall under President Trump. Going back to a 2013 interview he had on Fox News when he was talking about the government shutdown under President Obama's administration, he said the blame is ultimately on the president, and I think he may have forgotten who the current president is. There's a lot more issues under the surface that are lying here that we're not really focusing or talking a lot on. There's an issue because yes, the government's open now. We were able to agree on something, and some things are finally getting done. However, the issue is that, and as ABC News brilliantly put it, the shutdown deal leaves 17 days to solve decades worth of issues. In the next 17 days, the government needs to find a solution for DACA, as well as a new immigration plan, a new immigration policy. And that also is added to a new funding bill in general. Not to mention all the major infighting that is still going on between Democrats and Republicans. I'm a lot less optimistic that all of this is going to get done by then, to be completely honest with you. It really would not surprise me if the government got shut down again, because let's get real. If we've learned anything in Trump's short time in office, it's that all the traditional political rules, they don't apply to anything or anybody right now. So I honestly see the government shutting down again. Maybe it's for a day, it could be for a couple hours, but I still see it shutting down because there's still so much infighting going on in Congress. And it got to the point where Trump was literally like, I'm going to just listen, if there's paper on my desk, I'm going to just sign it. I know how to write my name. As long as you guys write sign here, please, I will sign right there. And that's what happened. Yes, the government's back open. Yes, everything seems hunky-dory, but let's reevaluate that in 17 days when the new funding bill has to be passed. Yeah, that'll be a really fun one. And now going on to a conversation I really want to have is, ever since the Golden Globes, Oprah Winfrey received the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and she gave this amazing, brilliant, eloquent speech. I mean, we all know that she's all of those things: brilliant, eloquent, amazing. And for some reason, ever since then, people have been speculating the thought of Oprah Winfrey running in 2020. Just today, January 23rd, CNN released a poll that said Trump is trailing behind Sanders, Biden, and Oprah in 2020 matchups. For a long time, everyone speculated the thought of Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden running again in 2020. And now they're adding Oprah to it. And they're showing that Oprah Winfrey would have a 51% to 42% divide between President Trump. Bernie Sanders would have 55% to 42%, and Uncle Joe Biden, he would have 57 to 40% against the current president. The situation with Oprah presents something that is a tightrope walk. Listen, I grew up with Oprah. My mom had it on at 4 o'clock every single day. I would come home from school, walk in, Oprah would be on my TV. I watched the whole week of right before she ended her show. I watched the 25th anniversary events, all the things they did for her, the show. And she is a brilliant storyteller. I also happen to love The Color Purple, which she was in. She was amazing in that. I am hesitant, though, as to saying with my liberal heart that I would wholeheartedly back Oprah Winfrey. This is the idea. Yes, we want everyone in the nation to know anyone can be president. But do we really want the idea that everyone can be president put out there into the masses? And here's what I mean. Oprah, similar to Trump, hear me out, is somebody who's famous in the media, who's somebody who was famous in entertainment. She had her own show for 25 years, a quarter of a century, and she is extremely talented. She built up her own business, she built up her own brand. She's brilliant. However, voting her into office would show the country you just have to be rich and famous to be president, to a degree. And listen to why I'm saying this. When you look at qualifications, talent, knowledge, expertise, I think we can all agree that the current president lacks a lot of those. And I'm not saying Oprah is not knowledgeable. I'm not saying she's not talented. I'm not saying she's not qualified. I'm just saying, do we want the public to really be supporting and backing the idea that just because somebody's rich and famous, they can be president? Because I really don't want to be voting for President Miley Cyrus or President Britney Spears in the future. I think the office of the president is an honorable position that needs to be held by a person, not just a man, a person that is qualified, that is dignified. I'm not saying that somebody who's famous cannot do that. I'm just saying we should not give the idea to people that you don't need to be qualified, you don't need to be educated, you don't need to know where Aleppo is to be president. Anyone can be president. That's going to just decrease the authority and the level and the respect for the office of the president substantially. And we don't want that. Even though this current administration and this current president have shown mountains of disregard and disrespect for the office of the presidency, we cannot let everyone in the nation start to disrespect that position just because he already does. And I'm not saying Oprah's not qualified. I'm just saying we have a long way to go to 2020. The theme of a lot of the past episodes I've done is we need to wait till 2020. We have not even gotten to the midterms. Wait, America. I know that's hard for you to do, but wait. What I can't wait for is coffee right now. So I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for listening to my thoughts, my ramblings every week. Can't wait to bring you more podcasts. Maybe experiment with some things, bring some guests in, talk about people. Who knows? We'll see what time permits. But as always, you're listening to The Tea with Jon Dowding here on WHIP Radio, Philly's #1 college radio station. See you guys next week.